Greetings, fellow humans. You know me as Iceman Caesar, and this is what's up in the world today. Now, normally I'd be running through a WWE Backlash preview for tonight, but things have changed for me a little bit due to some of the recent developments in wrestling, so I might as well get right into it. Might as well start out by saying that I specifically did not watch the most pathetic Royal Rumble or the most desperate Royal Rumble. I don't remember what they called it, but I specifically did not watch that event because of all of the controversies surrounding it, and just everything that goes along with making that event a reality, promoting, and I just didn't want anything to do with it. And but coming off everything around that show, it changed things for me. And this is different than not liking a finish or not liking somebody's push or not liking the direction of a story. Like this everything that's surrounding I don't even want to call it the greatest Royal Rumble. That's such a joke, but the greatest Royal Rumble, everything surrounding that stupid show it just changed things for me when it comes to WWE. The thing is, this is different from not liking the direction of a push or a character or anything like that. This is now, they are actively pushing propaganda across WWE screens, propaganda for an absolutely oppressive regime, and it is just I just can't believe it. I didn't watch, but I read the report, and to hear that WWE aired a propaganda video for this regime, and it was just the content of it. I was just like, that's how stupid they think we are. You run the video like this, and then all of a sudden everyone just laps it up and thinks, oh yeah, women love Saudi Arabia. Everyone, this is a place of rainbows and sunshine. Nothing negative ever happens here. Give me a break. But that's where we are now. It's like if WWE is gonna get into business with these guys now supporting WWE is basically like supporting them. It's just like I say, this is different than not wanting to watch because you don't Roman Reigns is getting a push or Daniel Bryan's not getting a push. This is getting into real life. This is not this is something that you don't deal with in the world of in the wrestling world, that universe. This is real world stuff that it really does ruin the magic that that wrestling is. You're not supposed to have to worry about garbage like this. I should have said at the start, but this video is definitely going to be not safe for work. With the language and stuff, because I get pretty passionate, and cussing is about passion. So when I get passionate about things, I definitely cuss. So just want to throw that out there that there's definitely going to be some language and stuff like that. But it's just. It changes things. This is totally different than just not liking the story or anything like that. And I know, sorry Triple H, but any society that oppresses its people and treats women like they're less than human is not relevant. And the second that good men start to accept and conform to these kind of disgusting societies, evil wins. And that's as a good man, as a good person, I'll never allow evil to win. I'll always stand up and fight against it, and I will always stand up and say something to these oppressive, disgusting societies. It's not relevant just because no, only good societies are relevant, and only societies that don't oppress people and don't treat people like they're less than human are relevant. Anything else is completely irrelevant and needs to be changed, and it cannot be accepted by good men, good women, and good people. So it's to hear Triple H say that was just absolutely depressing, because we need guys like Triple H to find the guts to stand up to these societies and say, what, if you want WWE, women are gonna be able to perform. If you want to perform, if you want WWE, then you're gonna have to change parts of your society. We're not coming into these disgusting places, and to think that glad handing with these guys and doing whatever they say is going to make them change, you're out to lunch. So it's just depressing rhetoric coming out of people talking about this event. So you look at the WWE superstars, some of them that played the propaganda puppet the whole week and are just trumpeting the biggest bunch of bullshit I've ever heard. You guys should be absolutely ashamed of yourself. Some of the stuff that's came out of your mouths, that's just. But like I say, this has totally changed things for me. It doesn't change my interest in wrestling or really per se. It kills my investment in the product because for the first time ever in my life, I did not feel a pull towards watching the Raw or SmackDown after WrestleMania. I mean, I did watch them, but it was normally you get excited about it. There's a little bit of that WrestleMania excitement for those shows. I mean, even during the period, in the late 2000s when I wasn't really watching, I still felt that pull to watch the Raw after WrestleMania, to watch SmackDown after WrestleMania, because that's when big things happened on that show. Stories got started for the next year, and it was just that was a show to watch. But I did not feel a pull for it at all. I haven't really felt a big pull for any WWE events. Like, I was more excited coming into this weekend for being able to have a Pepsi than I was about this pay-per-view at all. It really killed my investment in the WWE product. Like, I don't feel invested in it at all anymore. Excuse me. And it really started with the last 3 matches at WrestleMania. Wow, man. When AJ Styles and then Nakamura starts, WrestleMania fell off a cliff. And man, from looking at things, so did WWE as a company. What an absolute disaster of a final 3 matches that was for WrestleMania. Like, completely killed the vibe of the show. It killed the quality of the show, and it is just put a dark cloud over WWE as far as I'm concerned. But But yeah, like I say, for the first time, I just don't feel invested in the product at all, because it doesn't even matter anymore, really. Like, it's really watching the product. It's like, who cares? Like, I mean, there's no investment in who wins matches, because the decisions are going to be dictated by whoever's paying them the most money at the time. And that's the reality that they're starting to establish here. And it's like, really, who cares? Like, why do I care if these guys are having a match, when I know that, if whatever rich scumbag wants to pay them to put on a show, that's the direction they're going to go in the story, and nothing else matters anymore. And I used to watch. I don't know. I mean, I think a majority of WWE fans used to, but I specifically used to watch for the Royal Rumble to WrestleMania story. I love to see who would fight through and win the Royal Rumble, and then being able to hear them, to watch them finally watch their journey of finally getting a chance to be in the main event at WrestleMania, and seeing that there's that 2 months. That 2-month journey from winning the Rumble to finally getting to WrestleMania. And, even if it's not somebody that you've been supporting, at the top of your list of who you're supporting, it's still fun to see that journey. And, everybody that gets into the wrestling, almost everybody that gets in, has dreamed of that moment. So, it's fun to watch, and it's entertaining to watch. But, that story's dead. It is totally dead to me now. It's, if it was... The first nail in the coffin came with Daniel Bryan's debacle of 2014 and 2015, but now this year, I mean, both Rumble winners lost, and it doesn't even matter anymore. The main directive for the story is who's paying them the most money, and which puppets they want to put out on the stage. Like, it doesn't, the story that they've created, to me, the story that they built up in us as fans over the years is now dead. Like, who honestly cares who wins the Royal Rumble? They'll just put on another Royal Rumble a few weeks later, or they'll just do whatever the hell they want. And like both Rumble winners, first women's Royal Rumble winner doesn't win. Nakamura, another chance on the big stage, doesn't win. It's just like the story is dead, and it's just so sad. I'm sure I know not everyone feels like the same way as I do, but I just can't believe how much has changed based off of one business deal or agreement. It's just completely changed the landscape of how I look at and watch wrestling these days. Since WrestleMania, it's just since those last 3 matches at WrestleMania, to be specific. But it's just for them to actually agree to do a show, not just a show. A big monumental show that they're promoting and showing across the WWE network. For them to agree to do that show in a country where women are not allowed to compete and are basically treated as they're not human is just absolutely, it's just a joke. It's especially considering how much promotion and how much attention has been on the women's revolution, whatever they want to call it. Now they got Ronda Rousey as one of their biggest stars, and it's like you're going to a country where they don't even look at Ronda Rousey as a human. They look at her as something to be controlled and to be like they don't look at her as anything. But that's. I just can't believe that all the rhetoric that they've been pushing over the years about this women's revolution, and for them to do a show there where they can't even compete is just pathetic. I just can't believe that. But that's like, you'd think that would be the tip of the iceberg, but man, they just keep raising the bar unbelievably. They go from that to the next week. The very next week, they start a campaign, #SheIs, that's all about advocating for girls to compete in sports. What? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, you go from putting on a show in a country that doesn't allow women to compete in sports, and you go from that to the next week trying to promote a campaign where, yeah, let's advocate for women to compete in sports and girls to compete in sports. Like, what an absolute joke. And I'm sure they write it off as to, well, we did this, so now we're trying to promote this to try and create change. Like, that is complete bullshit. If you really care about advocating for girls to play in sports, you would not agree to do a show in a place that doesn't allow them to compete and doesn't look at them as human. You just wouldn't do that. And I know there's more business aspects to it, which I'll address later, but sorry, I mean, you just wouldn't do something like that if you really cared about, really cared about women competing in sports. I just couldn't believe that they did that, started that campaign, literally, the next week. It's just that's how stupid that they think that the general public is. That you're not gonna nobody's gonna notice and pick up on this fact. Nobody's gonna care. They're not smart enough to put everything together and to get mad. It's like, this is how they think about the general population of people. So it's like, I just couldn't. It's almost too insane to be real, but unfortunately, it is all too real. And and then you got to hear guys like Jim Ross, and WWE actually tries to do a good thing and say, okay, you know what, we're gonna still pay our female performers, because female performers are a big part now of the WWE machine and creating awareness for the product and putting eyes on the product. So they definitely, and this is a huge insult to them. So giving them some compensation for it is the right thing to do. But you got guys like JR actually coming out against it. Shut your mouth. Like, what? Honestly, and then have the audacity to say they need to earn their spot to get paid. It's like, I'm not even going to address that because it's so stupid that I'm just not even lowering myself down there. Like, they absolutely should get paid, and anybody that has a problem with it really just shows how close to the worst version of themselves they are, because that is just, I can't believe that someone would actually have a problem with women being paid, considering everything considering the circumstances of the event and them not being allowed to compete, and that just blows me away, man. But this whole thing, it's not just about it's not just about the women not being allowed to compete on the shows, and how women are treated, and how everybody is treated, all the human rights violations that exist through their laws and all their rules and stuff like that. Like, it's not even just about that. They could, even if the next show they turn around and say, okay, women can compete, like that doesn't make this whole thing right. That doesn't really change. It doesn't really change too much about it, because even if they let women compete, what women would have to go back to in Saudi Arabia if they live there. What other people have to go back to if they don't conform 100% perfectly to all their scummy little rules and all their just. If you don't do exactly what they say, it's like you are open to some very, very awful stuff. So this isn't just about women competing and stuff like that. It's about it's about the fact that these oppressive discussing societies, the people on the top of them, that are the fact that they even have all this money to throw around at just all these entertainment, just to pay women to come over and have sex with them, and to pay like the musicians to come and sing at their parties and to sing at their weddings, and to pay companies like WWE to come over and promote big shows, and make these guys feel special, have them puff their chests out, oh look at us, like it's just that like that whole thing, that whole environment exists, and that is like, it's so they could let women compete on the next show, and it's still this whole thing would still stink. It would still be bad because you still got these people with money that they should not have, and that's because Satan and his Illuminati set up a system to steal our money without actually stealing it. And Satan and his Illuminati benefit, and the other people that benefit are the oppressive regimes that these guys install. So the kings and princes, like such a joke that they just give themselves these titles, like they're just playing make believe bullshit. Like it's that whole. That whole thing is just it's just I just think it's such a joke. I just laugh when they parade themselves around and their whole thing. Just give me 1 second to try and put this back up. Doesn't want to cooperate ever. Not happening today, I guess. Alright, sorry about that little delay. Looks like it's not happening today. But you see when that thing came down, right when I was talking about Satan and his Illuminati and starting to explain all this stuff, that's when it came down. You might think I'm crazy, it's just a coincidence, it absolutely could be, but you just look at bullshit like that, like, it's just like, right when I started talking about it, things happened to try and disrupt the video. So, getting back on track, it's the Satan and his Illuminati set up a system to steal our money without actually stealing it, and the benefiters are them and these oppressive regimes they installed. So here's how it works, and why they are so obsessed with keeping the oil industry. One of the reasons why they're so obsessed with keeping the oil industry as the number one, the number one energy, and they're trying to kill off renewable energy and all that stuff. One of the biggest reasons is so that they can keep this control and this oppression of not just societies of countries that have oil, but the entire world. And it's like, so here we go. You identify a country that has oil. Satan and his Illuminati then try to take over that country. Now, there's lots of ways you can do that. You can start by having fake wars, by staging coups, by supplying money and weapons to these rogue groups to try and overthrow the governments that are not under control of Satan and his Illuminati, that are not going to send the money to where Satan and his Illuminati want it. So they try and take over these countries. They have lots of ways they can do it, and sometimes they're able to do it peacefully. Sometimes they do it violently. But one way or another, if there's oil in the country, they'll figure out a way to try and get control of it. And to give an example of that, the first war in Iraq in the early 90s, Desert Storm. The main goal of that war was to start the transfer of power and oil around Iraq, because 40% of Iraqi oil was on Kurdish lands. So the Iraq War removed the Kurds from their lands, so that Satan and his Illuminati could establish the regimes that they could control and start to get the oil out of there and start to get the money for themselves. One of the reasons for 9/11 was to start the to initiate the Iraq invasion of 2002 to finally complete that transfer of power and transfer of power into obtaining the oil, obtaining control of the oil. And so that was one of the reasons why they risked doing what they did on 9/11. And even though they left a lot of themselves out there to expose, they knew that people like me were going to have so much trouble trying to get people to accept the truth. So that's why they risked it, and it gave them a lot of money, gave them a lot of power, gave them a lot of control. But if we can, as long as we can wake people up to it, we can take every single thing they took from us back. But so that's what they do. They find a country that has oil, and once they do, Satan and his Illuminati try to take it over. And when they take it over, they establish an oppressive regime that they can control by making them rich. So if these guys are rich and they just have money to play with, they never have to worry. They don't have a care in the world. They don't ever have to worry about how much anything costs or how much they have endless supplies of money. They can do whatever they want all day. They're loving life. They're relaxing. They're just having fun. They're paying beautiful women to be around them all day. It's just they are just having the time of their lives. But that's how Satan and his Illuminati control them, keep them rich. And then, so once you're owning these, once you control these companies that have the oil, then you make sure that you establish these oil companies, and all the relevant oil companies are owned and controlled by bloodlines that are loyal to Satan and his Illuminati. I'm gonna eventually in videos. And then one of the upcoming videos, I'm going to break down Satan and his Illuminati, what the bloodlines are. That's how they keep things in control. Only people in these bloodlines are allowed to succeed in any part of society. But I'm going to explain all of that in different videos. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of disinformation, so it just takes a lot of time to get ready and put out there the right way. But I'm going to be explaining it eventually. I just want to establish that in case some people might be confused as I'm talking about it, as everyone should know it. But I will explain it at one point. Oh, excuse me. That's the thing. These Satan and his Illuminati control the countries that have oil. They control the oil companies. So now all the money that is involved in oil they control absolutely every single dollar of it. And so once they have control of the country, they have control of the oil companies. Now they set up a system. Let's use Canada as an example. Canada, we have the third most oil reserves in the entire world. Country, third most. The other two, number 2, Saudi Arabia. Number 1, Venezuela. So it's like, but you look at Canada. It's like Satan and his Illuminati set up a system to where we, Canada, we don't use our own oil. The oil that we use and pay for, we import it. So we have to pay out the ass for that. And so we import our own oil. When we don't, we could cut the rest of the world off and never have to worry about oil for another day in our lives. We could run our functioning society and not have to worry about anything. But no, they've set up a society where we import our oil. We pay somebody else to ship us oil that we already have. So that drives up our gas prices. That drives up prices of oil, of transporting oil and everything. And so we have to pay out the ass for it, and our prices keep going up, and we keep getting moved further to live in check to check, further just struggling more and more and more. And yet, Canada should be making lots of money because we export lots of oil. However, Satan and his Illuminati own the oil companies, so all the money that Canada should be making off of our oil doesn't go to our country, doesn't go to our people, goes to Satan and his Illuminati, and they distribute it to all their scumbag fucking network. And it just... And so that's the system we're in. And so now because they force us to pay these countries to ship in their oil, they get rich. And so all the money that these Saudi guys are playing with, that's our money that we're paying for to put gas in our cars and to put for every use of oil in our world. We pay out the ass for that, and we struggle and we live in hard times so that these guys can make all the money and live at the top of luxury and just love the highest, best parts of life. Like, what an absolute disgusting just once you break it down and look at it, it just makes you so mad, and I don't think about it too much because I can't immediately change it, and it just makes me so mad and so disgusted that that this world has been like this for so long. But that's the thing. Good people have to struggle to try and make ends meet, while these fucks have billions and billions of dollars to just play around with, just to throw away like it's nothing. And people are people can barely. People are trying to feed their families, and or people are being forced into like living like just almost onto the streets, and these scumbags are just sitting on their piles of money and throwing it around and just playing and having the time of their lives. Like, this is so fucking wrong. I can't. It just gets me so riled up. It just makes me sick. It makes me want to puke. It's one of those, it's one of those things that almost makes me physically want to just makes me sick. But like I said before, if this pisses you off, and if you're mad about paying high oil prices and high gas prices, bitching and crying about Trudeau is not going to do a damn thing. Waking up to 9/11, accepting 9/11 truth, and realizing what is going on with Satan and his Illuminati in this world, that's the only way that things are going to really change. So if you want change, you need to stop crying about Trudeau and this, and you need to wake up to 9/11 truth. Because that's the only way you're going to understand why things are the way they are, and when you understand why, then we can change them. But it's bitching and crying about Trudeau is not going to do a damn thing. You need to wake up to 9/11 truth. And it's just when you break it down and go over how the system is that they set up, it's so wrong, and it just but that's the thing. The control of Satan and his Illuminati is so far wide and reaching. It's like, it's tough because a lot of people that are in the position to do something about it are connected to them, so they would never do anything. So that's why it's like, that's why we just have to keep pushing forward, and eventually God's people that are loyal to God and Jesus are gonna get control of these, going to get control of things that we need to get control of to turn this world around into the best version of itself. And ending disgusting systems like the oil system is one of the biggest ways we're going to do that. Once we end that, man, things are going to turn around in such a rapid fashion. People will be really surprised. But there are so many people benefiting from it that they're not going to let go of all the benefits they get very easily. So it's like, but the more we expose it, the more people will have to be on our side and to try and change things. So it's just just got to put it out there, and we got to keep fighting and moving forward. But so that is just why this whole thing has just completely killed my investment in WWE, and just totally, I love wrestling. I know that Satan and his Illuminati want to kill wrestling, and they want it to be as wiped off the planet as possible. But we're getting into a point where I almost just can't justify supporting WWE anymore. It's just like, if they're gonna, if they're gonna be involved with these guys, it's a 10-year deal. So these scumbags are basically part owner of WWE for the next 10 years. You look at how things were dictated. They got John Cena versus Triple H. They got The Undertaker to wrestle on their show. They got all these guys to make surprise returns. It's like these guys say jump, Vince is gonna say how high. It's like they're basically part owners now. No matter what happens, if they want something to happen, they can throw enough money at Vince to make it happen. So it's like, it's a sad, depressing state of affairs right now that I think WWE is in, and it's I just cannot be a part of supporting these scumbags in any way. And so, doing videos like these, I want, part of the reason why I do them is I want people to watch the WWE shows. I want new eyes to come to the product, and, but I don't know, I can't really justify that too much longer, trying to bring people to a product where they're just connected to some of the people that are living as the worst versions of themselves on the planet, and are doing everything they can to keep this world in the worst version of itself, and to keep people oppressed, and to keep people down in the gutter. So it's like, I'm really torn right now. It's really, I mean, I want to keep watching, but at the same time, I almost feel like it's almost at the point where I can't find something to justify it. But I can also understand and sympathize with the fact that WWE is in a position where they can't turn down a big chunk of money like this, and because I'm sure it goes a long, long way, and with the climate of the world and wrestling right now, it's like it's not a guarantee that WWE is going to continue to make everything they do. I mean, like they have lots of talent. There's no guarantee, but there's no reason that they shouldn't be able to keep moving forward at their current pace. But here's the thing. They're doing what they're doing, and with arguably the WWE is probably close to one of the worst versions of itself as a product. And they're still doing the business they are. If they actually figured out how to make WWE the best version of itself, oh man, like they would not have to worry about bullshit deals like this and getting involved with scumbags like this. But so it's their own fault that they're in a position to where they're looking at this deal and thinking they can't turn it down because it ensures survival for the company. I get that, but you wouldn't have to do that if you put the best foot forward at WWE, and it's not even close to the best foot forward. I mean, it's getting to the point where it's like Vince is gonna have to accept, like he's gonna have to move to number 2 underneath somebody. There's gonna have to find somebody he trusts to make some of these creative decisions. I mean, it's his company. If he's alive, he's always gonna kind of have the final stamp and say. But he's gonna need to find somebody to first who is number 1, because it's clear. Nobody can stay contributing at the level he has for as long as he has. I mean, look at 40, 50 years the guy has been the number 1 creative force in wrestling, and his reputation speaks for itself. I mean, he's made WWE into the machine it is, but at some point, you don't know, you're going to lose the ability to make WWE the best version of itself, and you're going to lose the ability to kind of, know exactly what the best version of the product is. Now, I'm not saying you're going to completely lose everything. That's why it's just, he can fall back to number 2 and still contribute and still have his opinions, but at the same time allow somebody else that has a better idea of what the best version of the WWE product is, and what has a better idea of what maybe will draw in more viewers. He's gonna have to defer to somebody like that and find somebody he trusts to be a number 1. He could still be around as a number 2 as that filter, but I think we're getting to the point where it's pretty clear that Vince cannot be in the number 1 creative role anymore. He's got to he can be. I'm guarantee he can contribute at number 2 for the rest of his life, but he's gonna have to find somebody he trusts to be that number 1, not overall for the company, but really creatively. So at least that the other wrestlers and stuff know that this person can and will make decisions. Vince will put his suggestions and opinion in there, but eventually he's gonna have to find somebody to be that number 1. And it's once they do that, once you're able to find a system like that, it's like the WWE will be making so much more money, and I mean the brand will be on such a bigger level that you will not have to be making deals like this. You'll be able to say, look, if you do not have these morals and if you do not treat people like this, then we're not dealing with you. So you either conform to our good society and you either conform to our good conduct, or we're not going to deal with you. We're not conforming to your bad conduct anymore. We're not conforming to your bad societies anymore. So it's like WWE. I understand and sympathize that they could be in a position where they feel like they need to take this deal, but it's their own fault. And if they just did the right things, they would not need to be in a position like this. And I can also understand and sympathize with the fact that there are probably good people in Saudi Arabia that are trying to change the culture, and they think that maybe bringing WWE in is going to kind of create a spark that will get that fire going and create change. I can appreciate that, and I would certainly support WWE being a part of that. But it has to happen now. There's none of this. This is a 10-year plan. In 2030, we're going to treat people like humans. In 10 years, we're going to treat people like that's bullshit. That is just like that. No, you change now. You do things now. I don't care how many thousands of years that you've been oppressing people and treating people like they're less than human. You stop now, because it's just there's no more. I'm sick and tired of accepting the worst versions of people. I'm just not doing it anymore. and it's, you know, it's the baby steps are for babies. We as a society, we need to change now. It's like we're not. There's no more. There's okay. Eventually, we're gonna treat people like they're human. We do it now, and that's it. It's like, oh, eventually we'll stop terrorizing people. We do it now, and that's it. Like it's just, it's being a good person and doing good things is what you have to be and what you have to do. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and there's no tolerance for anything less. It's just the time. The time is now, and it has to happen now. So if people, you know, if there are people that are trying to spark change in the country and are using WWE, then they need to try and do whatever they can to make that spark into a giant fireball, because it's just like, for I don't know, for people like me, I just cannot. I'm not gonna be a part of things like that are conforming and accepting the worst versions of societies and people. So it's, you know, it's like, I mean, I know I'm definitely the minority in the world, but hopefully eventually there's going to be lots more people like me that are going to be, you know, like, that will walk away from something that they really like, that really entertains them, if it doesn't, you know, if the morals or the right thing is not there. And the time for change is now, and I'm not waiting, and I'm not tolerating the worst versions of people or society anymore. That's me putting my foot down, and I'm not wavering off that. So I know I was really debating on whether to keep doing these videos. I mean, it sucks. I really have fun you know, we're breaking down the preview and, you know, figuring out what I'm gonna say, and, you know, just helps me get excited for the show. And it's, you know, it's good content for the what's up in the world today. So, you know, I really love doing the videos and the previews for it. But it's like, you know, I don't want to promote something that's from the wrong thing, you know. And I don't want to, if WWE is going to be connecting themselves to, you know, people that are the worst versions of themselves, and I don't want to be any part of that. So I really debated on whether to do a preview, but I decided I would go ahead and kind of do one and just break down each match one by one. It's definitely going to be different than normal. I'm not going to go as long. You know, normally I could usually have a lot more to talk about. Might have a few ideas or suggestions of where to go with stories or matches, but like I say, with how everything has changed, you know, I'm just not as invested in the product, and, you know, I mean, I don't care about these storylines. I mean, I don't even want to watch. It was already getting to that point before all this happened, but I don't even watch promos anymore, because it's just, I don't know. I guess ever since all this has happened, it's been so the fakeness of how people have to talk, trying to remember the lines, and just the, you know, saying things that, like, like, just saying the most generic stuff. Like, I mean, it's just like nobody would ever naturally say this, but it's like it's just, oh, so robotic, and the words they are saying. It's not on the performers. They're doing the best with the garbage that they're being given, but it's like, there's no point in watching the promos anymore. It's like you're not getting a piece of that person anymore. You're not getting something real. You're getting some garbage spewed out by somebody that doesn't even know what they're talking about. So it's I don't even watch the promos anymore. And, you know, like I said, the matches, it doesn't really matter to me. It's just like, okay, you know, like Seth Rollins pinned Finn Balor on Raw, but if the next scumbag with that has lots of money, likes Finn Balor and wants him to be Intercontinental Champion, he can just, you know, sprinkle stacks of money on WWE until they say, yeah, that Finn Balor would be a great Intercontinental Champion. Let's do it. So it's like, I'm just not as invested in what's going on at all anymore. But I'm gonna go over each match and just say a little something about each thing as much as I can. So get right into it. First match. This is actually the match I'm most excited about. It's gonna be on the pre-show. It was just announced. Bayley versus Ruby Riott. I'm a huge fan of Bayley. I'm a big fan of Ruby Riott, and, you know, Ruby had a great match with Charlotte before WrestleMania. She had another great match with Sasha on Raw, and I'm really looking forward to this match with Bayley. And, you know, on the pre-show, they should get a good 15 minutes. I think they're going to be able to tell a good story, and, you know, as long as they let the crowd into the building, they should, you know, should be enough of the crowd there to get a decent reaction. So. But with these two, with how good both these two are, I'm really looking forward to actually getting to sit down and enjoy the pre-show. So I'm glad they added this match to the show. Getting to the main show, first match up for the U.S. title, Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton. It's nice to see Jeff Hardy get into singles. You know, him and Matt is obviously, the Hardy Boys stuff was good, but you know, he needs to be in the Broken universe and doing the Broken thing, and it's cool little team with Bray Wyatt. So it's nice that they're both separated into singles. Jeff looks like he's starting to get back into that 2008, 2009 mode where he was, you know, really connecting with the crowd. Like, they were just going insane for him, and his work was top notch, and it seems like he's getting himself back up to that level again. So really excited to see Jeff Hardy perform. And Randy Orton seems like he's getting a little bit more enthusiasm, you know, lately, with just seems like he's getting with the recent additions to SmackDown over the last Superstar Shakeup, and then this one, he's had a lot more just different people to work with, and looks like he's having fun working with the people that he's had to wrestle. So it's I'm looking, and you know, this is two veterans going toe to toe, and you know, showing everybody how it's done. So I'm really looking forward to seeing just because you know, it really is something to say. You know, wrestling is different. Even when Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton were starting their careers between now, the wrestling has totally changed. So it's going to be nice to see a throwback to the older style. But you know, they still know how to bring this newer age style into it. So looking forward to that match for sure. Next match up, big tag team match: Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I don't know what it is. I've never really been a Bobby Lashley fan. I just never really got into him his first run, and you know, he hasn't really done anything for me this run back. For me, I think he needs to be. I want to see him as a heel. I didn't watch TNA while he was there and doing his heel run, but I heard he's really good at doing that. I heard he showed a lot of personality and was just a lot. I just heard he was kind of night and day between this generic, oh, I'm big and tough and I'm gonna do lots of power moves and smile and yay, I'm big Bobby Lashley. Big difference between that and the heel character he's portraying. So I'm interested to hopefully seeing him get into a heel run. Hopefully they let him do it and actually let him kind of, I guess, be the heel that he needs to be, that he was in TNA. But it's, for me, as this big generic face that, oh, I do power moves and I smile and I beat everyone up, yay, just doesn't do anything for me. So I'm looking forward to seeing him as a heel. Braun Strowman was the winner of that big Royal Rumble, so hopefully, I mean, I think, especially considering what happened at WrestleMania with Roman losing, it just disgusts me even more that how everything they've done with Braun Strowman. I don't even want to talk about it because it just pisses me off so much. But you know, Braun is still my boy. I'm a huge fan. I'm hoping that this, you know, I was hoping that Braun and Kevin Owens would get built up as the big champions on both brands, and eventually down the road have a big confrontation. But you know, obviously that wasn't their plan. So I'm going to be excited to see them get to go at it in a match, because I'm a big fan of both guys. Probably, you know, with Daniel Bryan, my favorite wrestlers in the game right now. So it's I'm really looking forward to seeing this match. And Sami Zayn, man, the further we get away from Zayn versus Nakamura, and the more just okay average matches that Nakamura puts in, man, like I have so much respect for Sami Zayn as a wrestler now. It's just like, man, the guy's he's probably better than AJ Styles, because Sami Zayn proved that he can go in there and have a great match with anybody at any time. He never touched Nakamura. Him had never been in the same ring with Nakamura before, and they had one of the greatest matches of all time at TakeOver Dallas before WrestleMania 32. So Sami Zayn to me is probably the best wrestler on the planet, and I'm excited to see him in there with these two big guys. Sami Zayn was one of the big reasons why Braun Strowman started to get over. Those first series of matches gave Braun Strowman his first matches that were actually entertaining, more than squash matches. And those were the matches that made me a fan of Braun Strowman, because that showed me that, okay, this guy isn't just your typical big guy that can just, you know, force people to bump around and can't do anything. This guy can work, he can go, and if he has a guy that can go with him, they can put on something special. So I'm excited about this match. I think it's going to be really good, and I don't think there's any chance that KO and Sami Zayn pick up the win here, but I'm just looking forward to the action. I think it's going to be great. Next match on the card, Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass. It's still crazy to me. Like, Daniel Bryan is on TV every week in wrestling, and it's like, it's so crazy, and I'm glad, but I'm glad that he's not just being immediately thrown into the title, because it's like, you want to build the story, you want to drag this out a little bit, you want to try and, like, build things from the ground up again. So, and I mean, he doesn't have to go back to the lowest point on the card, but I like that they're giving him kind of a main event level feud with somebody that's, also hasn't really been in the title picture before, but is ready to move in there. So I like this pairing of Daniel Bryan and Big Cass, big guy and little guy. That makes for, really fun, entertaining matches. So it's I like that this is a feud. I like these guys getting together, and this is the best thing. This is the best thing for Big Cass, because, at least Daniel Bryan is a face that people really care about. So if he does something to him, people will boo Big Cass, and they're not gonna, like, cheer him or be indifferent. Like, I'm really glad that they've gone in this direction with both guys, and I think it's gonna be a really good match. It's like Shawn Michaels had the best matches when he was working that big man versus little man. That's one of the easiest but best stories to tell, and Daniel Bryan can certainly tell the story as well as Shawn Michaels. So I'm looking this WWE this Backlash card, is. I hate that the environment around the WWE and wrestling right now isn't better, and there wasn't that kind of dark cloud hanging over it from, that other Royal Rumble, because it's just this should be a card that, like, could be one of the best of the year, and should probably be, people should be more excited about, but it's like the. Just like first three matches I talked about, all could steal the show. The pre-show match could be the best show of the night. So it's just I'm really looking forward to this match, and I think they're really smart to save Daniel Bryan and The Miz for down the road, because it's a story that everyone's interested in, that they want to see, but that is a story that's big stage money. That's what I like to call big stage money. And you could do that on another smaller show, but for me that's a story that you should tell on a bigger stage. Something like that's a SummerSlam. Daniel Bryan versus The Miz at SummerSlam would be a great attraction. And I think it's a match that the fans would be all interested to see, and it's a story that has enough time to build between now and then. So I'm glad that they're not jumping right into it, and I'm glad that they're kind of hopefully they're saving it for a bigger stage. Next match should be an awesome one. Like I say, man, the home runs keep on coming on this card. Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe, and these guys have awesome matches. And it's I have a little bit of a different perspective on Roman Reigns, because at the end of the WrestleMania 34, right before he goes for the spear, his face is covered in blood, and he's beat up, he's sweaty, he's just, you've seen with the punishment he's taken in the match. Brock's kind of on his knees, ready to get up. He's hurting. Roman's on his knees, and all of a sudden you could see him start to hulk up, and get that adrenaline, get that intensity, and he just looks at Brock and just roars at him, and then just hits the ropes. And man, when Roman roared at Brock, at that moment in my head I thought, all right, fucking nail him. I was ready to see Roman hit that spear, win the title, and that would have been, for me, that was a Stone Cold Steve Austin moment. I think I might have even become a fan of this, almost this babyface super Roman Reigns a little bit. It's like I definitely wouldn't have been loving the Superman push that he has been obsessively given, but I would have been more I definitely would have been more on board, and not as abrasive to it. But it's just why they gotta ruin it? This is your stupid story you've been telling for 4 years. It's like Vince McMahon has forced this story on us, obsessively pushed it. He apparently broke the streak to culminate this story with Roman beating Brock. And we get there, he has a moment that could be a Stone Cold moment, the perfect storm. Everything comes together. Whoop, pulls the rug right out from under Reigns, and just what are you doing? What are you doing? This is Vince's story, and he ruined it himself. I just don't fucking get it. it hurts Roman Reigns. And I mean, it just, and you don't get chances to have Steve Austin WrestleMania 13 moments every day, every pay-per-view, every WrestleMania. When you get them, you need to capitalize. You need to pull the trigger. And there's no reason why Vince should not have pulled the trigger on Roman at WrestleMania. Like, it's just, it was an insane thing, and just, so, you know, like, but I mean, obviously that, like, I'm in the minority, hasn't transferred over to the crowd or like anything, but they needed that Steve Austin moment. It's like and maybe it wouldn't have happened overnight, but I think with that Steve Austin moment and the title win, eventually, you know, the boos would have started to subside, because that's cool. Nobody can sit there and look at that moment and be like, what a loser. Like, face covered in blood, roaring at a monster like Brock, hitting the ropes and hammering him with a spear. Like, I don't think there's anybody that couldn't appreciate that. So it's just like, it's so depressing we had to sit through this for 4 years, and then when the big moment finally came to pay it all off, they don't do it. I don't waste time thinking about it anymore, because there's no point. It's just no rhyme or reason to it. But this match with Samoa Joe should be awesome. 2 different brands. I mean, I'd say coming off 2 consecutive big losses, Roman's probably got to take the win here, but Samoa Joe is heading into a title feud with AJ, it looks like, so he could use the momentum. Could go either way, and when those matches are usually the best, so I'm looking forward to this one. Next match for the SmackDown Women's title, Carmella versus Charlotte Flair. And, you know, what a great moment the cash-in was for Carmella. She's been worked so hard, got left behind when Enzo and Cass got called up, and but kept working, kept scratching and clawing, and got called up on her own. And people try and give her crap for not being able to wrestle or work. I don't know. You're insane. Carmella can work in the ring. She's great on the mic. She's a great character. I don't know what other people are watching, but it was a great moment, and she takes that title and lets it elevate her. You can tell she's walking on a different level. Like that title has put some air under her feet. Like she's elevated her game with being the champion. You can see it's like a different. That's really what you want to see. It's like there's a different. She seems different from when she's not the champion and when she is the champion. So I've really enjoyed seeing her work on TV and be the champion. And I hope it doesn't come to an end here. I want to, I'd like to see her get a defense and go on a pretty good run, because she's been. It's just I like to see when people start to elevate their game. I really like to see. Them get opportunities to see how far they can elevate it, and it's like you don't want to push people too far over the edge until they fall, but it's like you want to give people opportunities and want to see if they've elevated their game at this point, maybe they can keep pushing it up there. So one of those things that'll do that is having a great match come, whether it's your first defense or if you have to give it back. Having a great match will make people go, hey, she had a great performance. Like she shouldn't have to give that title back. So, looking forward to this match. And Charlotte Flair definitely doesn't need it. She got Asuka's streak at WrestleMania. So, I think she can afford to take a couple losses here, and then she's definitely going to be. I'm sure she's going to be the one. She's got a date with Ronda Rousey coming somewhere down the road, so she'll be built up back again big time. So this would probably be a good opportunity here to give Carmella a big win. And next match for the Raw Women's title, Nia Jax taking on Alexa Bliss. And I'm really looking forward to this match, because this has been a really, really great story. One of the best storylines the women's division has ever seen. Like the starting with being best friends, and Alexa slowly adding in these little shots, and that she's using her, and that she doesn't really respect her, she doesn't even really like her, with some of the things she's saying, and then being exposed, and finally, just trying to throw everything she can at Nia, verbally, physically, mentally, to try and get her off her game. Really having a really good match at WrestleMania. Man, these moment of bliss things, these are serious, man. Those are some stiff shots. They made me laugh, but it's just like, whoo-wee. But Nia has the perfect reaction. Like the way she just came like beelining out for Bliss on Raw, and was just like, where is this little, like, I'm gonna tear apart. I thought it was a perfect sell by Nia, like, you know, like, I have had enough about you running your little mouth behind the screens, like, I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna snap you like a toothpick that you are. But I've been really enjoying, like, it's been great work from both ladies. They had a really good match at WrestleMania, so, you know, this match, let's see, rumors say that Alexa Bliss has been taking some off with some minor surgery, so hopefully she's ready to go, you know, but, you know, given with the, you know, having to take time off and just having surgery, this match might not be able to, you know, raise the bar off their WrestleMania match, but, you know, they have great chemistry together, so this should be another really good one. And storyline wise, though, this is probably the strongest match coming into the card. And the next match for the WWE Intercontinental title, Seth Rollins taking on Finn Balor, and, you know, these two had an absolutely amazing match on Raw, and, you know, two of the best wrestlers in the world. You know, they both are at the top of their game. Just keep raising the bar and elevating their game. You know, I think both these guys are trying to get into that Shawn Michaels position. Both guys have the talent to do it, and it's you know, we are the benefiters getting to watch them try and just, you know, keep pushing each other to be better and to be great and to, you know, to try and get that top spot of the go-to guy and the number one guy when you're talking about performances and wrestling matches and stuff. And really, my only criticism for Seth Rollins right now is the fact that he performs the worst move in wrestling to me. The move that I have to leave the room when he does this move, and it boils my blood. It makes me so mad and frustrated that it's like, but that's his superplex where he rolls through into the Falcon Arrow or whatever. I hate that move with a passion, and to me that totally. It makes wrestling seem fake and not real. It's like you compare that to Bret Hart, who used to come off the superplexes off the top and just splat onto the mat, and you're just like, man, are either of these guys going to be able to get up? Like, to me, a superplex off the top rope is one of the most impactful, brutal moves that you can perform in a wrestling ring. And these guys just do a total disrespect to it by going off, rolling through it, and doing another move. Even Balor reversed it, like the superplex didn't even phase him. So it's just, I don't know. To me, I've always looked at the superplex as a brutal move. I think it should be treated as a brutal, impactful move. And I hate how he rolls through it. Worst move in wrestling. But that's really my only criticism of Seth Rollins right now. Like, he's probably in there with Sami Zayn as one of the best. I want to see a big stage Seth Rollins versus Sami Zayn match, like for a world title on a big stage, maybe in a main event, you know, because like these two could pull out a match that would be. Like Sami Zayn is one of those guys can have a great match with anyone. Seth Rollins can have a great match with anybody. When you put these guys together, and, you know, like, I think these guys just they're so locked into wrestling, you know, mentally, physically, emotionally, just they're so locked in. I think that they could just come together and have something truly worthy of the word epic, and, you know, something truly special. But you know, Finn Balor to me is like, I think he almost gets taken for granted how good he is, because, you know, he makes everything look so easy and so smooth. I think you almost kind of forget to appreciate just how good he is and how hard things are that he does. But that's because, you know, like, he almost gets like the, you know, like when you're talking about the greatest wrestlers in the world today, it's, oh yeah, and Finn Balor too, yeah, he's awesome. But then, so it's like, that's what I mean, like, you almost take him for granted. So it's you know, I'm really happy for situations like this where Balor can look to, you know, make himself stand out, and, you know, just try, you know, being a little bit smaller than everybody else, he needs to do things to stand out more and to put himself out there more. And, you know, to make sure people that aren't just, you know, taken for granted that he's so good, and, you know, to make sure people are breaking down his performances and appreciating him for, you know, how good he is, and, you know, being able to have big matches with guys like Seth Rollins on a pay-per-view. This match should be one of the hottest matches as far as crowd reaction goes. So, you know, really looking forward to it. And, you know, like, every match I talk about is just home run, home run, home run. I just, I wish I could be more excited about this show, but as I'm going through it now, I'm getting a little bit more excited. It's coming up tonight, so I'm it's once I start talking about it, I kind of forget about the real world stuff. It's I find that enjoyment, that magic again, but it's being tougher to forget the real world stuff. But matches like Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor certainly help that. And then moving on, last but certainly not least, for the WWE Championship, AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. And honestly, I am not even excited about this match at all. And I don't know, I mean, the guys haven't really been put in great positions. I mean, the storyline coming into WrestleMania was basically, we're both good, and, ooh, I'm going to hit you, no I'm not. I'm going to hit you, no I'm not. I'm going to hit you, no I'm not. I respect you too much to hit you. It's like, excuse me. I guess I kind of even thought that you didn't really need much of a story to sell to create a great match between these two, but obviously I was wrong. And I mean, now it's just being built up over the low blow. So it's like, ooh, yay, Nakamura's gonna low blow him and win probably. So it's just, I don't even care really about this match anymore. And it's it really, I don't know if they're gonna be able to have a great match together. I don't know if they have the chemistry to have that match that can get into a 4.5, 5-star conversation. Star rating is subjective, I know, but it usually has a consensus. Everyone can say, okay, this match is up there. So it's like, but I mean, I don't think these guys have had anything close to that, and it's just the storyline to me has not excited me at all. I'm really looking forward to them, moving on to different stories, and I'm just not really invested in the story of Nakamura being the first Japanese superstar to win the WWE title anymore. Not that I'm not a fan of Nakamura anymore. It's just that this heel run could be pretty interesting, but I just I'm gonna need to see more and build it up again because after everything that happened at the WrestleMania, I just totally killed my investment and interest in seeing these guys wrestle. Which sucks because they're two of the best. AJ Styles arguably the best in the world. Nakamura in the conversation for best in the world. So it sucks to kind of feel that way about it. But it is what it is. I can't help it. So that brings me to the end of the Backlash preview. There is some awesome matches on this card. Should be a really great show. But I just can't help but be kind of blah about it because it's just my investment for the product, it really took a hit with everything, with that other Royal Rumble and everything. So it's I'm still gonna be watching, and I still did the Backlash preview just because I'm gonna take things day by day as it goes, just to see what other information comes out, just to see how things go from there. But but now was what it was. Hopefully it gave enough for a little bit of each match, so you can at least enjoy the preview. Before I finish things off, just talk about a few other random things in wrestling. Just wanted to say it's been cool to see the first few episodes of Something Else to Wrestle on the WWE Network with Bruce Pritchard and Conrad Thompson. It's nice to. I mean, I love the podcast. I definitely never want that to go away. I want to keep that going. But it's nice to be able to have secondary content, even if it's stuff they've already gone over. I don't care. It's not like I remember everything word for word. It's lots of it's going to be new again. I mean, you remember once you hear it, but it's nice to get that refresher. And plus, the best thing about it is the video cues and the video clips that come with it. It's when they're talking about the WrestleMania press conference from WrestleMania 14, they show it so you can see what they're talking about. That's one of the things that I wish the podcast had. So now it's so awesome to have that on WWE Network. And it's just my only criticism is that I think it's been I think there hasn't been enough of Conrad kind of calling out Bruce about some of his ass kicking. Now I know this is not going to be they can't get into a thing where Conrad is just raking WWE over the coals for 90 minutes and stuff like that, and you're not going to be attacking every single thing. And I mean. And people need to understand that a lot of these are Bruce's contributions, ideas. Obviously, he's going to defend them and try and put them out there and justify them and make them seem like they're the right thing, or they weren't so bad. People expect him to I just treat this like it's not his own creation, like he wasn't a part of it. So I mean, like, that's what it is. Like, he's giving us his memories and stuff, but obviously he's gonna be trying to defend. I mean, he clearly loves Vince McMahon, looks at him as a best friend, and very respects his talents for creativity very highly. So he likes to defend his ideas and things. And when you're a part of something, obviously you're going to be invested in it, and you want to defend it as well. So I mean, I don't expect Bruce to to take WWE to task over every single negative thing they did, or take them to task over every storyline, or agree that every storyline decision that that we think was bad wasn't bad, or like, I mean, I definitely don't think that, but it was the first half of the Shawn Michaels episode was actually like, man, this is getting, that was almost too much, because I mean, the part where Bruce actually said that when Shawn Michaels manhandles the cameraman and throws a tantrum, it's like he actually says, oh no, that wasn't Shawn Michaels reacting and being an unprofessional douche, that was him being in character. Like, come on. I don't understand the love affair like lots of these guys have with Shawn Michaels. He can do no wrong. Everything he does, it's like, refuse to do jobs, refuse to lose titles, refuse to show up, unprofessional out in the ring, unprofessional out of the ring, causing trouble with the boys, talking behind people's back. Oh, that Shawn, he's just a troublemaker, that Shawn. But everybody else, it's like, you take the one thing they did, and it's like, you're the worst person ever. They did this, so they're bitter and they're blah blah blah. But it's like, oh, Shawn Michaels can do 10,000 things, and it's just like, he's the greatest, and he can't do anything wrong. And oh my God, I can't. I was so happy to hear Conrad. Bruce, the name of the show is Something Else to Wrestle, not Kissing McMahon Ass for 90 minutes. Oh man, that gave me a great laugh, because this is exactly what I was thinking, and it's exactly what I wanted to hear from Conrad. Because it's like, I mean, I understand that Bruce is going to defend a lot and justify a lot, but holy crap, there is a line that crosses where it crosses into ass kissing, and it just gets nauseating, and it's like, that's not what something to wrestle is, and that's not what something else to wrestle should be. So I'd just like to see a little bit more of Conrad jumping in, like you need to get off a bullshit mountain with that fucking, like, it is just. But I was really happy to see Conrad throw that in there halfway through. So the show is going to go through, it's going to have hits and misses, but I've enjoyed every episode so far, and I'm glad to see it's on the network, and it's a nice companion to the podcast, to where you can, it's a refresher, but you're also getting different things with it, like the being able to see the stupid faces on the stick and getting the video cues with what they're talking about. So doing a great job, guys. Keep it up, and kudos to WWE for allowing this to be on the network and allowing them to have the freedom to talk about the insider parts of what went on and to criticize the company that's putting this on. So it's a really big thumbs up to everyone involved for it. Throwing the thumbs up around, man, what a great documentary the Andre the Giant documentary was. It's like, everybody loves Andre, but you hear the stories about, he could be kind of ornery, and, he didn't like other giants, and, he could be in bad moods. But man, when you see his story and you realize that the poor guy was just like, he was just like he was just like wanting to be like me, going to a grocery store. I walk around, people look at me when I go in there, but people aren't following me and gawking at me and stuff. It's like, he just wanted to be able to go into a store and pick out something with not have people looking at him like, wow, look at that big giant. He's eating an orange, or that big giant's, he's buying a box of Kraft dinner, or like, just to be constantly and as humans, we're constantly thinking that people looking at people, they're thinking we're jumping to the worst case scenario. So it's like, everyone that's looking at us, we think, oh, they're judging us, they're insulting us, they're making fun of us, but most of the time people are just in awe, because it's like, you don't see something, it's like wow, you're just trying to look at it and just trying to experience it, like just trying to look. So I mean, but just knowing Andre, how people would never leave him alone, he never really had that sense of, like, I'm just me. I'm just me. It's like he everywhere he went, he always felt he had eyes on him. Or he's always somewhere. He always had to be the giant. He never could be vulnerable. He never could be. It's just, And then he walked, but that's the thing. He walked around every single second of the day with the desire to just be normal for like just a little bit. And, it's like such a thing about life. Like all of us wish we could be big and tall like a giant, and command the world like that. And the giants all wish they could, just kind of camouflage themselves in the world for even a day, even just to go out and to be able to do one thing and not have everyone look at it. I mean, could you imagine anywhere you go thinking, I can't, I'm gonna have to get 2 chairs, and they're gonna have to make a big scene for me, and I can't go see a movie with all, when your friends are talking about seeing a movie, in the back of your mind, can't go. I'm gonna have to sit with the fucking armrest up my ass or something like that. It's like, it's just. Oh man, I just really sympathize with him, and I just really wish I could have been around to try and help him out with some of the problems that he had. Like just trying to be around to help make his life easier. Like I really understand why he had such like a close knit family type around him, and why they cared about him and loved him so much. Because he was just such a caring, sweet, gentle soul that it was just so tormented by the attention that he received from life every second of the day, and it's just like, you just wanted to wrap your arms around him and take that from him for a second. I just, I really have really had a lot of love for Andre the Giant. I really felt like I, connected with him a lot more and understood him a lot more when I saw the documentary. So really glad with HBO and Bill Simmons for thinking enough of Andre to put the time and the effort together to do this and put this documentary out. And that way people can have Andre's story for the rest of the time, and everybody can connect their energy to the great person, and the great just the great soul and the great energy that was Andre the Giant. So a big thanks to everybody in the documentary, and much love and Godspeed to the boss. And also another great documentary that came, unfortunate news, the passing of Bruno Sammartino. That documentary Bruno that the WWE Network showed, wow, that was just so incredible. I could have watched another 3 hours of that. It was just amazing. His story is just absolutely incredible, and I mean, he's definitely an inspiration for me. He did things the right way. He put on his bulk and muscle mass size over a period of 8 or 9 years, and he did it the right way with food and just hard work and training. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. So like I kind of feel like I relate to Bruno Sammartino a little bit more, and that's he's I love hearing guys from that era talk about how the wrestling industry was, and just. It would have been so fun to keep up the realness, the kayfabe of wrestling, and to go in there and to have those type of matches with your peers and stuff. It would have been so much fun, and to be just to be trying to get in the position to be a world champion and to travel around to the territories and draw the houses and to work with the different talent, and it's just I can't get enough of those stories and documentaries. And it sucks that we had to see it because Bruno passed away, but he lived an absolutely amazing, extraordinary life, and he will be remembered for the rest of the time. So much love and Godspeed to you, Bruno. And so just last thing I want to say, going from sentimental type stuff of documentaries too, but I just need to say this: F you, Tommaso Ciampa, you bald son of a bitch. Man, like, just never is enough for this guy. Fine, thinking that they're probably going to move on from this feud, but no, he takes it to another level, attacks Johnny Gargano again. Another running shot off of the table, through the tables, and this time puts Johnny on a stretcher. It's just like, I can't. Oh man, like this, this has been a great feud, but damn you, Ciampa. I can't wait for Johnny Gargano to come back and just kick the living crap out of this guy once and for all. It's but thought the feud is gonna be over, but they have lit the fire under it again. So it's gonna be awesome to see it get going. But it's nice to have a great heel to hate, because F you, Ciampa. But so So that's all. So that brings me to everything I was gonna say. That's it for the preview, and I wanted to. I felt like I needed to address everything surrounding that other Royal Rumble and just how it affected, my interest and the way I'm just approaching, WWE and doing previews for pay-per-views and stuff like that. It's so I mean I can't I'm not gonna guarantee that I'll be doing another video for the next pay-per-view. I'm just gonna take it day by day, week by week, show by show, just see how I feel, see how things go. But I just I wanted to do. This card is it's a pretty home run card coming in, so I wanted to do I wanted to do a little preview for it, and I wanted to wanted to be able to mention and go over all the stuff from the other Royal Rumble and talk about everything like that. So but thanks I thank everyone for coming along for the ride and watching the video. I know some people don't accept things about 9/11 truth and Satan and his Illuminati and stuff, but the truth is out there. If you break it down, it's you can see that it's not just mumbo jumbo, it's not just made up, it's actual fact, it's actual truth. And the only way we're going to turn this world around and get it to the best version of itself is to wake up to things like 9/11 truth and end the systems like the oil system, things like that keep us oppressed, that keep us on the ground in the gutter. So wanted to go over that. Wanted to talk about Backlash a little bit, and then go over the few random points. So, but that brings me to the end. I might be back for the next pay-per-view. I'll definitely be back next week. Next week will be the summer movie preview. One of my favorite seasons. My favorite times of the year when the summer movie season kicks in. So I'm excited to do that one. So I'll be coming back with a preview for that. And it's also Mother's Day. So early happy Mother's Day to everyone out there, all the mamas out there, single mamas, dads that are playing mom, just everybody in the mother role. I just much love out to you. You can't say it enough, and there's not enough days to really appreciate just how much you do and have done for us. So that brings me to the end for the day. Thanks everyone for coming along for the ride, and we'll see you soon down the road. Much love and God bless. Peace.